Hi guys, Black Friday is right around the corner and this is your best chance to get the Surface deals. So this is the ultimate Surface collection to help you decide which Surface device is right for you when you join those lines this Friday. The best deals are at the Microsoft Store and Best Buy, and they're offering bundles, so that includes the keyboards and pen, plus up to $300 off. So these are incredible times to get your hands on these devices. So to help you decide, let's start with the Surface Pro 7. Now this is the most popular device in the category, 2-in-1s, and this is probably where most of you got started with the Surface Pro line. The design is unchanged from the 4, 5, and 6 Surface Pros, but if it's not broken, don't fix it. It features Windows on traditional Intel chips, the Core i5, the Core i7, improved battery life with fast charge, so that means charging up to 50% in 30 minutes or 80% in an hour, and the same things we've come to love, the 2-in-1 form factor, detachable keyboard, the pen. So a lot of this is unchanged except for the refresh internally, but it has things like Face ID, USB-C, and Instant On. So Surface Pro 7 is probably your safest bet, and it has the best deals and its most popular device. And if you don't want to join the experimental type of chips that the Pro X and Laptop 3 have, well, then this is the one for you. Okay, so let's move on to the Surface Laptop 3. Comes in two models this year, 13-inch and the 15-inch. The 15-inch features its first ever metallic finish. So it's similar to the MacBook Pros in terms of its finish now. It's aluminum, and it comes in black, it comes in silver, and it's featuring Surface's custom AMD Ryzen 7 chips. And this is for improved graphics performance. Now, some reviews out there said that the business version of this versus the Core Intel i7, i5 iterations are spec'd a little better, but in my use, it's about the same. And if you want the clamshell laptop traditional form factor, the things like Instant On, Fast Charge are featured on here too. I like the traditional laptop clamshell form factor for work. The screen's beautiful. The Instant On works great because right when you open the screen, it's similar to the MacBook Pro, and you same thing, you get those Windows Hello face unlock features, and the great keyboard and the great trackpad, running the best, in my experience, Windows drivers, the best trackpad that Windows has to offer. The keyboard space and travel are great, so check out my review on this. And in regards to the 13-inch or the 15-inch version, if you want the 13-inch and kind of the beige colors, go for those, but the 15-inch is for me because I like more my screen real estate. Okay, so let's move on to the Surface Pro X. So the Pro X this season, I would say, is a wild card because this is Windows on ARM. So if you checked out my review of the Surface Pro X, I said that Windows on ARM is probably the most misunderstood device because it's trying to compete with the productivity of the iPad Pro. If you want the Surface Pro X, you're probably going to get this one because you like the revamped design. Now, the hope is that the Pro X design language comes to the Surface Pro 7 line, but for the Pro X, you get the redesigned hinge, you get a smaller bezel on the screen, you get a new pen placement that goes in the keyboard, and you get Windows on ARM, so that's running it on your custom SQ1 Microsoft chip. So for those who want this improved form factor, even thinner, and a pen that's actually usefully going to be with you all the time, and you understand that there are ARM64 apps, it's the holy grail, and you could get those optimized apps. It'll run Office fine, it'll run Canary on Edge, the Chromium builds, it'll run those things great, then this is the one for you. Now, if you want the more traditional sense, stick to the Surface Pro 7. If you like the Core i5 and don't want any misunderstandings with compatibility with your x86 apps, go for the Pro 7. But for the Pro X, those x86 apps will be emulated. But I would say for most of yours progressive web apps or your Canary or Chrome use, I would say the Pro X is very much for those who are on the bleeding edge of tech. And look out for this because I love the form factor and design. It's so thin and offers great battery life, and it has has USB-C ports instead of the traditional headphone jack and the USB-A. So approaching more of the iPad Pro design language, let's see if that device is right for you. Okay, so moving next, we have the more older, non-refresh versions from this year, but you have the Surface Book 2. Surface Book 2, if you want the GTX 1060, and if you want Surface for gaming or intense productivity, like running very large Excel files, or you're a power user, a real power user running games, running heavy Office apps, or running SQL queries or data analysis programs, I would say the Surface Book. It's the one that I use the most for my corporate functions or for in my day-to-day work, or if I'm rendering videos or running powerful Adobe Premiere Pro products. It's on Intel chips, and it has a discrete graphics card, at least the 15-inch version does, versus the smaller Surface Book 2 13-inch versions. But I would say these guys fly around the office because they're workhorses. So Surface Book 2, you've seen my review on that one. That's probably the most popular review I've ever had. So go for that one, and that's up to $500 off. Now, I can't wait for the Surface Book 3, but if you're in the market and you want a no-frills Surface device that has a detachable screen and is super powerful, stick to the Surface Book 2. That's the one that started the channel for me, and that's the one that started it all. So look out for that. And lastly, for your creators in a desktop setting, you have the most quote-unquote largest Surface device, the most powerful at the time, the Surface Studio 2. And when we did our comparison with the Surface Studio 1, we knew that the screen was improved. They improved the internals, but unfortunately with its modularity, you can't improve the specs that it came with. So we're going to have to deal with some mobile processors and mobile graphics cards. But the screen on this is so immersive, it dives right in, and it's for those creators who like those easel stands or kind of like that art wedge to draw all your apps together. Check out my Surface Studio 2 review if you want that. But unfortunately, I haven't seen major deals on this device for Black Friday, so if you made it this far in the video, Surface Studio 2 is just for you collectors. Other than that, for power, stick to the Surface Book 2. For the most popular 2-in-1 in portability and traditional Windows use cases, Surface Pro 7. The revamped style, more experimental mobile line with the beauty of the LTE connectivity and mobile design, go to the Surface Pro X. And for your streamlined MacBook Pro, like elegance and a pure traditional Windows use, go for the Surface Laptop 3. All in all, I couldn't decide, so I have this ultimate collection here, but we'll see what you decide in the line. Comment below. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and good luck on your Black Friday shopping or your shopping for this holiday season, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you, guys.